Now at 11, a man is in critical condition after he was shot outside of a restaurant in Lawrence. What police are saying tonight about the investigation.
And it's a foggy night for many of you, but we have a different concern for your morning commute for Monday morning. I'll let you know what to expect.
And despite a good first half, the Colts fall to the Broncos. Dominic Miranda has the highlights and their playoff chances after this loss. Live from Indy, you're watching 13 News. Thanks so much for staying with us tonight. I'm Sia Nyorkor in for Jenny Redovich. A violent end to the weekend. One man is in critical condition after a shooting in Lawrence. Now, police have a suspect in custody. It happened in the parking lot of Don Marco's restaurant on North Post Road and Pendleton Pike. Lawrence PD says an officer was patrolling in the area when he heard the shots and responded. He found the victim and helped until medics could take the victim to the hospital.
It's Sunday night, but at the same time, we're doing our jobs out here trying to keep everybody safe. This is just another instance of violence that we're going to stop, try to make sure everyone stays safe tonight.
Lawrence police say several witnesses are coming forward, and they're hoping to release more information soon. IMPD is investigating after a hit and run left a motorcyclist dead. It happened just after 8 near East 16th Street and Post Road. The motorcyclist was taken to the hospital and listed in critical condition, but unfortunately died at the hospital. IMPD says the vehicle that hit the motorcycle did not stay on the scene. So far, police have not released a description of the suspect or that vehicle involved.
All right, let's talk about your forecast for the early morning, because we do have one concern right now, and that's that there's a little bit of patchy fog out there. Part of the reason is that the temperatures dropped in some locations, even into the 30s, even cooler than expected. So we've got a little bit of clearing out there, except at the surface where some patchy fog has developed. Visibilities are down where those temperatures are dropped. Look at this, though. The visibility is the default value, 10 miles here, which means that there's no fog concerns to the south as some southern winds help to bring in even warmer air than what we're dealing with right now. So we do have a dense fog advisory. This goes through 1 a.m. I think after that, while there still may be some patchy fog, it's not going to be as much of a concern. So watch for patchy fog tonight. Your temperature where we are currently is essentially our overnight low. In fact, I think we're going to warm up overnight. It depends on where you are. And by morning, we're into the 50s. Yes, we're headed close to 60 for tomorrow, but this is your concern, the possibility of rain for tomorrow. I'm going to break that down for you, walk you through it hour by hour as we're expected to get to near 60 for your Monday afternoon.
Thank you, Rob. Indiana's first execution in almost 15 years is set to take place later this week. Joseph Corcoran is scheduled to be put to death before sunset Wednesday morning. He was convicted of murdering 4 people in 1997 in Fort Wayne, including his brother, his sister's fiance, and 2 of her friends. Now, yesterday, protesters hoping to stop the execution gathered in downtown Fort Wayne. They're hoping Governor Holcomb will intervene and commute his sentence to life in prison. Some Indiana lawmakers, including Republicans, have recently made statements against the death penalty.
We're very much hoping that that will give Governor Holcomb more permission to choose life for this man who does not understand his crime, does not understand the punishment, and our community will not be served by having one more person killed.
Corcoran's attorneys say he has a history of mental illness, including a diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia. His attorneys have filed motions in state and federal courts to stay his execution. All have been denied. They plan to file a new appeal in federal court, and if that also fails, they may appeal to the Supreme Court. Happening tomorrow, we'll learn more about the next steps for a troubled townhome complex on Indy's far east side. Town and Terrace was built more than 60 years ago near 42nd Street and Post Road. While it was once a thriving community, it's now known more for crimes, including drugs and shootings. After years of legal battles, the city announced it will demolish the property and redevelop the area. Now, the first vacant building in the complex was torn down in April of last year. The city is beginning to plan demolishing 8 more vacant buildings this month. Also happening tomorrow, hospitals in Marion County are putting temporary visitor restrictions in place. Now, that's due to the recent increase in respiratory viruses. Hospitals won't allow visitors younger than 18, and anyone with a fever, cough, headache, sore throat, or runny nose won't be allowed to visit either. Impacted hospitals include those within Community Health Network, Franciscan Health, Ascension St. Vincent, IU Health, and Eskenazi. Community Health Network says it's implementing similar restrictions at locations outside Marion County. The Colts had a great first half today in Denver, but the second half, things just fell apart. Adding insult to injury with today's loss, it's been 10 years since the Colts won the AFC South. Dominic Miranda shows what went wrong in the Mile House City.
Well, the Colts came into the day on Sunday fresh off a bye, recharged, yet staring down the barrel of its biggest game of the season. Must win to keep its playoff hopes alive. It started well. Colts scored first. In fact, they were up 10-0 in the early going. They took a 13-7 lead into the locker room on the road. But what transpired after that, you just got to see to believe. A nightmare of a second half, mistake after mistake, leading to an implosion and a 31-13 loss. Let's take it to that second half so we can all relive this together. Second half, a nightmare. The Colts dropped to 6-8. They have about a 7% chance to make the postseason per the broadcast, although it feels even lower than that. Colts welcome the Titans to town next Sunday, and we'll be right back here tomorrow morning, I promise you, with plenty more reaction from this one. That'll be on Colts Wake Up.
Thank you, Dominic. Colts fans had reasons to be excited early on this game, and they already have some thoughts on how it all ended. Our Marina Silva is getting reaction tonight.
It's been a roller coaster of emotions for Colts fans, but still every week they show up cheering on their team, and this Sunday was no different.
Fans packed their favorite restaurants and bars to watch the Colts take on the Broncos. While the game ended in disappointment, fans say they still enjoy watching the games. But for one fan, he says it's been a rough but fun season.
It has been a roller coaster. A roller coaster indeed.
Next week, the Colts take on the Titans at Lucas Oil Stadium. Reporting in Indianapolis, Marina Silva, 13 News.
And it's game week in South Bend. Notre Dame's coach talks about his approach as the team hosts IU in the first round of the playoffs.
And we've got some rain moving our way. We're expecting a good bit of rain as we look to tomorrow. I'll talk about who's going to see the most and also the dramatic cool down that you're going to see after a 60-degree day. It's coming up.
And later, a Broad Ripple Bakery is back in business. How the new owners of Renee's Bakery are staying true to 20 years of history. It's game week in South Bend, and Notre Dame is gearing up to host IU. Notre Dame coach Marcus Freeman spoke to reporters today after a short meeting with the team. He says he's pleased with his team's preparation over the last week, and now they're looking ahead to Friday. Both teams sport an 11-1 record, and Freeman says the Hoosiers show a lot of talent on the field. Freeman also says the Fighting Irish have a big challenge ahead, but he's confident in his team.
Is that everybody knows it's a big game, but the approach to the game can't change. What we've been doing in terms of our preparation mentally and physically has given this program a chance to succeed.
We're expecting to hear from IU coach Curt Cignetti on Monday. Kickoff Friday is at 8 p.m. 13 News is heading to South Bend for Friday's game. We'll have coverage starting at sunrise and highlights after the game's wrap-ups. The Pacers had a great weekend following Friday's win in Philadelphia with a win at home against the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pacers led 59-42 at the half and were up by as much as 23 points in the third quarter. Pascal Siakam led tonight with 22 points. Tyrese Halliburton added 21 plus 10 assists to the Pacers' 119-104 win. The Pacers kick off a 3-game road trip starting Thursday in Phoenix.
All right, check your calendar. It is December after all, but the high temperature tomorrow is going to be 60 degrees, if you can believe that. But it's the warmest day of the week, and it's all downhill from there. I'll explain coming up. Stay with us.
Welcome back. This weekend, a popular bakery in Broad Ripple is back open after shuttering in July. Our Anna Chalker takes us inside Renee's Bakery for the weekend's grand reopening.
When you step inside Renee's Bakery, there's a sense of comfort. And when those croissants are pulled out of the oven,
it's unreal that we're in this position.
You'll meet two new bakers.
We're happy that we can continue it on, but we all wish that it wasn't the situation that it was to do it.
20 years ago, Albert Trevino opened this Broad Ripple bakery. But in April, he was diagnosed with cancer and made the decision to close. That's when his bread maker, Isaac Roman, and friend Thomas Hayes bought the business.
I want to keep it going just how I think he would run it, because he created this place. He did such a great job with all the recipes that for selfish reasons, I wanted to keep making croissants in the same way he does. So
this weekend, Renee's was back in business, and the response was overwhelming.
Everybody's happy. Everybody comes in. It's a bakery. It's a happy place.
This blue building holds so many memories for the ones here in the Broad Ripple community. And while the new owners want to hold on to its legacy, they're also looking to expand it in the future.
First and foremost, we want it to be Renee's. But, we have our own ideas, and we definitely want to add to Renee's.
Adding more love and pastries to this community.
This is our passion. It's not just
it's not just a job.
It's not just a job. Absolutely not. It's everything.
In Indianapolis, Anna Chalker, 13 News.
All right, check this out. Chicago woke up to a foggy Sunday. The National Weather Service issued a dense fog advisory for a large portion of Illinois with limited visibility and hazardous driving conditions. Now, according to the FAA, flights were delayed at least 15 minutes at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. Even after the advisory was lifted, forecasters warned of low visibility heading into the evening and overnight hours.
We're going to have a little bit of that here as well.
I was going to say, we saw a little bit of fog, but it wasn't that cloudy.
Yeah, and most of it is actually from the city into the north. So areas to the south are staying just a little bit milder. That tends to keep the fog at bay. So I think it's areas to the north. If you're driving tonight, watch for that. Let's get into the forecast for the next 24 hours, because that's really the interesting part of the forecast. And you can really see how low the clouds are. The ceiling is extremely low. In fact, we're losing the top of the Salesforce tower there. So the ceiling is low. It means there's a lot of moisture in place. The atmosphere is certainly warm because we've really warmed it up. We've had some south winds today. We've kicked back in with a south or a southeast wind. That's at least going to hold the temperatures where they are. Our dew point is 45. If the temperature cools down to the dew point, that's when you get dew to form, or fog. That's why we talk about the dew point a lot of times, and we did see that in many locations. There is some more moisture moving our way, and we're starting to see this system get a little bit better organized. You're starting to see some of the showers, but unlike the forecast maybe we made a couple of days ago, if you haven't checked back in, most of this will stay in southern Indiana. But I think there's going to be enough in central Indiana that we will have some rain showers to deal with, and potentially got some new data in that suggests that even here in Indianapolis we could see some significant rain for tomorrow. Temperatures are in the 40s. We've got 50s farther to the south. Some of that will move our way. You see these wind lines that tell you that south wind is kicking in. It's going to keep bringing in that warmer air until the cold front moves through, and that's not going to happen until later tomorrow. So forecast low temperatures pretty much where you are right now. Expect it to even be a little bit warmer tomorrow morning as the sun comes up than where we are right now. I think it's going to be a warming trend over the next 12 hours. If you're driving, watch for that, especially overnight. This only goes through 1 a.m., but I know some of you have different schedules. So especially if you're heading up 65 or 69, just know that there is going to be a little bit of patchy fog, or perhaps 74 headed to the west. Visibilities are already dropping, and I have seen some locations that have zero visibility right now. Here's what to expect. I told you I'd walk you through this hour by hour. Here's 5 a.m. Rain showers likely, and this new model data that's come in, I never pay attention to the specifics, exact amounts, exact temperatures. What I try to do is see what the data is telling me is the overall feel of what the system is doing. Notice most of the rain is to the south and will likely still stay to the south, but this new model run does suggest that at least Indianapolis is going to get some significant rain from this, and maybe even a little bit of clearing by the afternoon. By the afternoon, it may be a little bit surprising that after the rain, we've got 60-degree temperatures. By the way, that might be a good time to see some rainbows possible if the rain is exiting to the east and the sun is setting to the west. That's the classic setup for some decent rainbows for tomorrow afternoon. Then the temperatures drop, but I'm hoping that by that point, most of the drier air that's come in by Tuesday morning will have dried up any of that leftover moisture, and we won't have any concerns with any icing out there. I think most of the moisture is going to be done by that point. And then we still expect to warm back up and even get another rain chance as we look to your Wednesday. This particular model has upped the rain total, but I think really it's from Indy to points to the south. About a half an inch to an inch of rain is what you can expect. Your Monday, expect rain. Temperatures into the upper 50s to near 60 degrees. I'll put a nice round 60 on the graphic for you. And then we go down the hill, and chance for rain Wednesday morning, but another chance for some precipitation on Friday with a few snow showers as the temperatures struggle to get above freezing for both Friday and into Saturday.
Thank you, Rob. Obesity rates appear to be on the decline. A new study published in the JAMA Health Forum finds obesity dipped slightly in U.S. adults last year for the first time in more than a decade. Researchers saw the most significant decrease in the South among women and adults ages 66 to 75, and also large drops among Black Americans. The study suggests that might be due in part to the recent rise of weight loss drugs like Ozempic. However, they say other medications or factors, such as the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, could have also have played a role. A 50-year holiday tradition returns once more. How this big tuba concert has grown from the first edition in 1974, that's coming up next. A 50-year Christmas music tradition returned this weekend in Denver.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Tonight was the first tuba caroling concert. Today, 220 people came out with their horns and belted out some Christmas tunes. This all started back in 1974 with just 20 musicians. Oh, we love it, we love it, we love it.
That is very cool. Cool is not our forecast for tomorrow. I mean, it's going to be warm, 60 by the afternoon. And I do think we may even see a peak of sunshine, maybe even a couple of rainbows by the afternoon, but expect rain. That's a very safe bet for the early part of the day. After that, we cool down all the way through the rest of the week.
Okay. Thanks so much for watching 13 News at 11. Sunrise starts at 4. Have a great rest of your evening.